for the Word and Praise podcast, and I'm joined today with Jeremy Rosado. Jeremy, how are you doing, sir?
Aaron, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
It is great to have you. We were able to meet in Charlotte earlier this year at an event, industry event, and unfortunately, you weren't able to make it to Virginia Beach. Tropical storms had a issue with us this year,
Yeah,
but we're able to make it up a little bit and have a chat with you today. So I'm really excited for this.
awesome. I appreciate you taking the time, man. I was looking forward to Sunrise Fest in Virginia, but I'm glad everyone's safe and okay.
Yeah, just a little rain and wind for us, and we were kind of used to the tropical storm season here. But it floods when it sprinkles. So trust me, nothing anyone else wants to get involved with.
Gotcha.
So you have been up and coming. Kind of tell us about your journey up to this point. I know you've released an album and you're getting ready to you're on tour.
Yeah, so the journey's kind of been crazy for me. I got to do American Idol 12 years ago. Came off the show, came to Nashville trying to find a record deal and just kind of make all this dream happen. Um, Ended up kind of putting the music aside and went back home. I became dad to my biological niece, Jocelyn. And so just kind of put the music away and just went on staff at a church because I just needed to provide for this kid. And so here we are 2 years ago from now. Um, the Voice reaches out, the TV show, and that ends up happening. And God kind of changes everything. And signed a record deal with Capitol, and here I am talking to you. And so we're working on the album. It hasn't come out yet, but
Ah,
the first single is out. It's called "Come and See," and super excited, man. I've just been writing like crazy, and I think we've got like 60 songs to pick from for this record that'll be coming out next year, and it's really exciting.
it's always funny because you have so many songs to go through, and as an artist, I'm sure you want like just a mega album of 60 songs to go out because each one of them is like a mini passion project, but you have to
Man,
pick like 12 or 13.
I want Capitol to give me a double album so I can have like 24 songs, but I don't think I don't think that one's gonna
Uh,
happen this time.
well, you'll have enough material for the next album. That
Yeah, man.
is for sure. And the story of your biological niece, you have and you told this incredible story. I think you brought everyone to tears when you told it in Charlotte. But that's powerful, and you as a person, you've gone through a lot, you've experienced a lot. Um, and you've come through and God's amazing. God works
Yeah.
those things, right? Where you
Oh yeah.
all right, music career is done. I'm going to do what I have to do. And God says, you know what? You listened, you followed, and here comes the blessing. Because
Yeah.
can you kind of expound a little bit on that part of the journey if you'd like?
Yeah, for sure. So the reason I even became a dad is because my sister has had a drug addiction for 17 years.
Mhm.
And so it allowed her to like be the mom she needed to be. That incredible struggle gave me the greatest responsibility in my life, becoming, Jocelyn's dad. And yeah, man, it's like I went through that season just on church staff, and I love the local church, and I love being a worship leader, but I always had this sense in me that I was called to go out of these four walls, and I kind of put it down, and I was just like, God, I just need you to kind of help me grieve this part of it. If it's not your plan, that's okay, but just help me in like my humanity to like be okay with it. And I remember just being like ready to just like let it go, let the dream go, and ever getting a record deal, ever doing this at this level, doing Christian radio, and it's just like God to come through and like take what I was surrendering and give me exceedingly and abundantly more than I could ask and actually imagine He would do. And so here we are, man, and just like life changed so quickly and so much, and I'm so thankful for where I'm sitting right now and what God's doing. It's crazy.
I think God allows us to go through those moments too, where we kind of have to put it away to see, to
Yeah,
learn in those seasons to be like, you know what, you know, if we were able to do what we wanted to do when we wanted to do them, how much of what we were doing was us, our ego, hubris, whatever you want to call it, and then to look at the weight, the patience, the everything you learned in that moment, in that season, is now you're just grateful to be
Yeah.
with the opportunity. I've experienced that in my life. I know, and I see it in several artists who have similar stories of having to wait and having to start later, or God opening those doors later. Because you can see it now on stage, like you're all in. This is not about you. This is
Yeah.
you give all the glory to God. You let that testimony just kind of sing out, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah. It's incredible, man. And I think you're right. I think there's some, and thank you for that. I think I feel all of it now, you know? It means so much. Um, that I'm like not taking a second of it for granted. And I just want to tell the world about my Jesus, man. That's it. And I have experienced some incredibly tough things in my life, and I've experienced God's hand show up and provide and sustain and keep me and my daughter and make ways. And even now with my sister, man, like this song, Come and See, which is the first one for us that we've sent out to radio, it's my song. I mean, like, Come and See What God's Done, but it's really my sister Amy's song. Like, it's her life story. I remember when we wrote it that same day, that morning, she'd called me super frantic on the phone, just telling me, hey, I just like, give me a reason to keep going. I'm about to check into a new rehab. Like, give me a reason, Jeremy. And I'm just telling her, Amy, there's still purpose on your life. Like, if the fact that you're even talking to me right now, there's still a reason that you're alive. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Surrender to the Lord. God can do this. And so I remember walking into the studio right after that. We wrote this song, and I wrote it from a place of faith, believing that one day she would be able to declare these words to everyone she knows. Come and see what God's done. If you need proof that He's God, He can do anything. Just come and see. What I didn't know, Aaron, is that God was turning it around so quickly. We wrote the song 12, 13 months ago. My sister just graduated her 10-month program. She's been free and clean and sober and on fire for Jesus for the past 10 months. And so God is so gracious, and He's bringing everything back around. And it's something so special, man. I've cried all day. We've been doing interviews, and
Oh,
I've
I've
been
got,
out.
for me, it's the second time that I've heard it because I heard you share it in Charlotte,
Yeah,
and I got goosebumps again,
too.
listening to it again because you know I come from a place where those stories, that redemptive stories, I've shared in that with people who have dealt with addiction, and have dealt with different forms of that.
Yeah,
It's powerful, and when you have someone that can celebrate recovery and continue to celebrate in sobriety and all that, I'm getting choked up. you
dude.
know it's
Hey,
beautiful to watch God work, and we've been able to see that with your career, um, to see what happens when we surrender to God and just let God be
yeah,
and let Him do what He wants to do in us, and that work. And it's been incredible. So you have the release out on radio now. Um, are you trying to line up what the next single's gonna be, or do you have a song other than that one that might be kind of like, hey, I really, really like this song?
dude. To be completely honest with you, I love Come and See, and my team will. I'll get in trouble for saying this, but my next single, I think, might be one of the most special songs God's ever let me be a part of, and I wanted that one to come first,
Mm.
but with the story and with what God is doing in my sister's life, we needed to release Amy's song, my sister's song. But this next song, I wish I could tell you the name of it, but I can't. But
Yeah,
it's really special.
I
And then
almost took an exclusive
even
from you. I almost.
even before that single, man, I've got a Christmas single coming out too for radio, which I'm excited about. Which I can tell you, my friend Riley Clemens and I, we just recorded it last week, and it'll be releasing I think in 3 weeks, man. It's a really quick turnaround, and so I'm really excited. Really excited for that.
Okay, yeah, I am. I'm getting the Christmas music in now, so I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to seeing that. It's always exciting to kind of hear how, especially we don't talk Christmas music with Christian radio a lot because I don't know why it never comes up, but it's interesting to hear how artists are now writing original Christmas music
yeah.
for the season specifically.
We've been writing originals from my stuff too. This first one that's coming out is a cover. It's a classic. It's Silver Bells.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
her and I can't wait for it. I just heard the final mix of it like right before I walked into this interview, and it sounds so good, man. I'm so excited. She's so gracious, and I'm a fan of Riley, so it's a big deal for me. But um, yeah, it's just so cool, and I've got so many ideas for originals. For I think we're working toward like a Christmas EP for next year.
Okay.
Um, this one, there's two songs coming out with one with Riley, and then my version of "Do You Hear What I Hear," which I'm really excited. But I think next year there'll be more of a record coming out for Christmas. So, yeah,
Well, looking forward to it. I do like my Christmas music. No matter what people hear me say throughout the rest of the year, I'm a purist. I want to hear Christmas music in the Christmas season, and then I
yeah,
put it away. But I love it.
I love it, man. I think I call myself Mr. Christmas. I'm too much about it, man. I love Christmas so much, dude. It's my
Okay. I like to ask this question to all the artists I talk to. When you're on the road and there's so much noise that can happen, right? You're always moving. You're always on the next interview, the next sound check. You go on stage, you get off stage, you gotta go to the next city. How do you stay, grounded in the Word and with God? Because we do what we do in radio and through Christian music is ministry. And it can be easy to get caught up in the other stuff that comes along with that. So, is there something that you do that helps keep you grounded in what you're doing?
yeah, man. I to be completely honest, it's just a daily check in with the Lord, man. It's time spent. Like, if I don't take time with the Lord, I don't know how this works, because it does become so busy and so loud, and I have to spend time in the presence of God. It's just an intentional decision daily, man. That's really what it is. And also credit like my family, like my mom, who's such a strong believer. She loves Jesus so much. She really is like just like a center for me, man. She helps me just kind of keep leveled. And while I'm grateful for all these incredible things, I have to remember that this purpose is way bigger than Jeremy. It's something so different. And so, yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I love that answer. And so obviously we missed Sunrise, but you are currently on tour, correct?
I am. Yeah, I'm on the road. I've just been. We just came out of like summer festival season, so I did a bunch of festivals. I just did one this weekend, actually, this past weekend. I've got my own concerts and shows coming. Like I'll be in Seattle next week, this weekend, and then, but I'm actually going on tour with Tasha Layton in 2 weeks. So I'm just
Oh,
really excited about that. And then I've got a Christmas tour. I'm probably not supposed to share, but I'm just gonna do it with Cochran and Company. We're going on tour for the whole month of December for that too. So I'm excited. We're busy through the end of the year. I'm very thankful.
good, good. I'm so glad to hear it. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us here at the Word and Praise podcast. Always
Thank you.
great seeing you. Really sad I wasn't able to do this in person. That was the plan originally.
Yeah.
But weather had other, God had other plans, and that's
Yep.
okay. We're going to rely on that He had a purpose for it. I'm glad
Yep.
you're safe. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. And I can't wait to speak with you again. And the next time you come around town, we got to be there.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
And